Greetings, Neocoma. Greetings, Neocoma. It's Montsho. We do. Reaching out, I wanted to jump on because this conversation about User and Alicia Keys has taken wings. I see a lot of people posted it. I see a lot of people talking about it, and many people have reactions. So I wanted to weigh in and clarify some of what we had posted around it, and that's definitely something that we feel strongly about. So first I want to say this, that remember, I'm Montsho. My wife is Nawasha, and sometimes people assume that they're talking to me, and they are not. We literally share this page, and many of the things that we post, we as two individuals are posting them, and rarely do we post together. But a lot of times we are posting after discussions and conversations where we agree or disagree on a thing, and you may see both of our perspectives on the same thing. But a lot of times people are talking to me, and it's actually Nawasha who's posted something. So part of that was the case here. But still, I want to say that I think with this issue, there's a couple of things. So first of all, for silly people who contend, I just saw somebody post it like, it's none of our business what they're doing, which is asinine and ridiculous, because this is the Super Bowl and they are performing at the halftime show. This is not somebody going into Alicia Keys' home and private life. This is not someone coming into Usher's home or private life, which wouldn't be appropriate. This is what they're bringing into our homes. So then to turn and say what they do is none of our business is the most immature and ridiculous response that I think a person could offer. However, I want to say that I find it interesting that what I'm seeing today is that a lot of men feel like the performance, that part of the performance was inappropriate. And let me just say that I have a lot of respect for Alicia Keys and Usher. I'm not necessarily really fans of theirs, but I have a lot of respect for them, and I always want them to win when I see them. I have bought Alicia Keys' first album. I never bought an Usher album, but he got like 5 songs that I absolutely love. But, I'm 53 years old. I'm from a different era, and the music that I'm into is a little bit different. But I like the young brother, and I think he's, dope for his generation. But his music doesn't really move me. Overall, I thought the halftime show was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I thought it was like a 5.5. I thought he had some great concepts, but his vocals weren't that good, and some of the stuff was a little bit over the top. It was unnecessary. And to me, an artist does that a lot when they're not a great singer. I think Usher is a really good singer. He's not whack like a lot of people from his generation are whack singers, but he's not a great singer. He's not a great singer, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But anyway, so him and Alicia Keys, as brothers and sisters of mine, I always want them to win. However, with this particular incident in the performance, what a lot of people are talking about, I think it's interesting that a lot of the men that I saw, a lot of the men that I see, we resonate in the same way anyway. That's why I'm connected to them in professionally or socially or in my intimate friendships. So we all kind of have a similar thinking. But I think for most men, it's really a no-brainer that when you love a woman, when you really love her, you have kind of a possessive energy, or not in an oppressive way, but in a protective way. So we talk about I talk about the 3 P's of marriage for the man, where he's a provider, a protector, and a prophesier. And in the role of protector, every man wants to protect the woman, right, that he has. And they see their woman as, or see the protection of their woman as their responsibility. And ironically, I think there is a dual message being sent that I think some men get it confused that protecting a woman is owning a woman. That's not true. But then I think on the other hand, a lot of women want protection, but they don't want direction. And that can't be true. Because if someone or something is going to protect you, they're going to have to be able to direct you in a particular, direction. Do this, don't do this. And that has to be done with balance and delicacy and respect, but it has to be done nonetheless. So it's always interesting to me when these kind of conversations come up. It's a lot of women who say, it doesn't matter. It's just entertainment and, whatever. Or you have some other women that say, she should be able to do whatever she wants to do. And that's empowerment. And I think that we have been salaciously fooled into believing that all freedom is empowerment. You can be free to destroy yourself. People are actually free to commit suicide, but freedom doesn't necessarily equal empowerment. Power is the ability to lead or direct a group of people, right? So now if we are empowered and we see something like this, where is that leading us? Because now I'm speaking as a clinical therapist. Peace to my sister Medina, I see you, Queen, who's also a therapist. 8 out of 10 of us are unmated. And I've been in sessions for the last 25 years where couples are damn near in divorce court for less than what we saw on that stage. So how does this become entertainment? And this is a real important thing. Another thing that I see often when these kind of conversations come up, some people try to act like we shouldn't be talking about this. The reason celebrities have the status they have because they are an example of all of us on a magnified level. So oftentimes the things that they go through, we root for them. We root for them to make it back from their trials and tribulations. And we all centralize around their things because we all go through the same things, but it's very hard to be a celebrity. That's why I respect all of them. I'm not into the celebrity deity culture, but I respect them all because most of us can't take a dissenting comment on social media. Can you imagine what it's like for 1 million people to watch your every move, dig in your garbage, follow you around, paparazzi, and everything you say is taken out of context? Most of us don't have the emotional fortitude to even get disagreement from their own partner, let alone somebody who you don't know. And so it's always interesting that when polarizing things happen with celebrities, some people say, oh, it's not that deep. Well, on one hand, it isn't that deep. They are celebrities and they are in an artificial world. But on the other hand, they are symbols of a higher consciousness and a higher reality for all of us. They're almost like the archetypes of biblical, Quranic, and Pert Emheru, the Netarus, the Loas. They're almost like that because they have a really magnetic energy to them because of their talent and because of their fame. A lot of times they're not even talented. They're just famous. But in this case, I think Usher and Alicia Keys are very talented. Again, I'm not real big fans of either one of them, but as black people, I always want them to win when I see them. So now they doing a performance. To me, in my humble opinion, the performance is subpar. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's subpar. Then Usher comes behind her and he does a lot of sexual things when we all know that she's married. And then the news came out that Usher and his fiance applied for a marriage license while they were in Las Vegas. Now, I think he's in a residency in Las Vegas, so I see him. I see a lot of clips of him performing in his shows and stuff like that. But the news came out today that he actually applied for a wedding. The two of them applied for a wedding license recently. So they're obviously about to get married in Las Vegas. So now, my thing is this. I know for a surety, because of the counseling sessions that I've been in with black people in 16 countries around the world for the last 25 years. This is what I know. 99.9% of us would not tolerate that in a personal relationship, to see your partner doing that. So then my question becomes, why is that acceptable as entertainment? That's a rhetorical question for you to think of. Why is something that we wouldn't tolerate and we would say is morally incorrect in private, how does that become entertainment? Why is that something that is entertaining to us if we think that it is unacceptable in our personal lives? I think that says a lot about our mentality and our false profession of love for these people. We profess a love for them, but we encourage the things that actually cause problems in their relationships. And now, with the advent of social media and the demystification of celebrityism, we're seeing a lot of times that couples have gotten into fights because of movies that they did or certain scenes we've seen with, like, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie did a film where they played an affair and then they started a real affair. I remember Angela Bassett saying that she had to spend time with Pauletta Washington because she, quote unquote, fell in love with Denzel when she was doing Malcolm X. Go back and read it. And she was in trouble. Now, she said that out in the public, and she married to Courtney Vance. So this stuff is not as lightweight as people are making it seem, because I understand neuro-linguistic programming. I'm trained in neuro-linguistic associative conditioning systems, and this is what it teaches to help people get over their traumas. When you do something, the mind can't tell the difference between play and real if you do something repeatedly. So now, if you're pretending that you're humping on my wife, does your penis get erect? Yes. So what you going to turn to me and say, I'm pretending? Your body, your biological response says that this is real, right? And so now my larger issue is this. Outside of them being married, I could go down the track that most of them, both of them, have had salacious things come out in their marriage, but we're in a time of self-forgetfulness, and we all had that. I've had salacious things come out in my marriage. My story was seen by 13 million people on Oprah Winfrey Network. So I'm not here to say I'm superior to them, but I'm also not here to not judge. Judgment is a part of intelligence. You can't effectively live if you don't pass judgment. Now, on another level, to those of us that are in a certain lifestyle, we are striving to live by moral, ethical law. So in our particular case, it is the 7 virtues, 10 principles, and 42 laws of the African, Nubian, Kushite, Kemetic, Nile Valley, or Hopi Valley culture that we call Ma'at, right? It might be the supreme good, the Sunnam Bunam, the 10 commandments, something. We're all living by some moral standard. So I want to say this to the silly, ignorant, pathetic people. Individuals never set a cultural standard. The culture as a whole sets the standards for individuals. So a lot of people try to post this response that Swiss Beats put out as proof that it was nothing wrong with this. Swiss Beats is not using the filter I'm using, even for his own wife. I'm judging him and his wife by my filter, not theirs. They live and they play and they interact in the most savage industry that the world has ever seen, the world of illusions. And we know that, as we teach, celebrities are not to be trusted with their perspective of intimate relationships. Number one, they're super narcissistic because they're in an industry where they only focus on their self and getting attention and a successful performance. Number two, they don't have a good track record with relationships. And we can easily look at Swiss Beats, Alicia Keys, and I believe they have a child outside of their marriage during their marriage that he created. Usher in his previous relationships, and it's a no-brainer. Number three, because of the access and the fame and the money and the other things that these celebrities have, they are very different than the rest of us in that way. They are allowed to follow their vices to the nth degree. In fact, they're encouraged to do it. And you hear people talking about the rituals and the Illuminators and the Illuminati and all of this other stuff that they are stuck on terms from like 30 years ago. But rest assured, the global system of racism, white supremacy, one of its areas of interaction is entertainment. And so it oppresses our people through entertainment by supplanting values in the minds of the people that work counterproductively toward their end goals. So we know that. We all know that. I think all adults know that. This is why we have to filter what our children are listening to, but we especially have to filter what we are listening to and watching as adults, because many of us are children in adult bodies. Psychologically, we're children. We just did that class in the Black Love School this past week. So what I'm saying is, hey, you know, they did a performance. Many of the married men said, I wouldn't want anybody doing that with my wife. I wouldn't want somebody making love to my wife in a movie, right? Check this out. Denzel Washington, who is considered by many, and myself included, as one of the greatest male actor of all time. Certainly, he's irrefutably one of the best actors in Black history, in the cinema, in the 80-year history of blacks on cinema. He is one of the best. He said for many years of his career, he purposely took all love scenes out of his movies. Why? Because he wanted to have a high level of respect. In fact, there is a classic video of his movie, The Pelican Brief, that he did with Julia Roberts. And she said that many people asked her, why didn't they, it appeared they have a love tension in the story. Why didn't they kiss or have a love scene? She said, actually, they kissed and they had a love scene in the script, but Denzel took it out because he told her, now listen to this. This is wisdom. He told her that he had a public responsibility to his people. And number one, he did not want his people to see him in a love scene with a woman that wasn't his wife. And number two, he didn't want little black boys and girls to see him in a love scene with a white woman. Now, Denzel Washington is also the person who said many years ago, we should not look to celebrities for a relationship because number one, they're super narcissistic. And the true definition of narcissism is that you're focused on the way you look, symbolically and literally, to the point of detriment of those around you. You don't care about real substance. You just care about how you look. So number one, they're super narcissistic. Number two, they do not have good track records with relationships. Number three, because of the intensity and the distance of their work, you could be gone for 6-7 months at a time. And a lot of times you are having sex with the people you are making movies with. That is an unquestioned, irrefutable fact. It happens with the people that you go on musical tours with. It happens with the people you go on make music with. So people talking about it's just like a scene from a movie. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. But then I added to his 2 points. Number three, because of their fame, money, and access, they're very different than the rest of us. Number four, they actually work for the industry that is designed to promote illusions to our people. Now, when you combine all of that, I can't take what I saw up there lightly, especially in the context of this as a relationship therapist. Most of the women egging that on are single. Most of the men who are saying it's wrong are married. If 8 out of 10 of us are unmarried, who should we be listening to? Not to say sisters that are, and not every sister who is single agreed with it, because a lot of sisters have hit me up and said, I saw some of the sisters' comments on your thread and they're bugging. I said, hey, I agree, but say it to them. Don't say it to me, because I don't want to utilize this to fuel any gender wars. I am 100% against all gender wars, and anybody who promotes that is a hater of black love and black culture. But I am saying to you, I find it interesting that a lot of married men are saying, under no circumstances, Super Bowl, I don't care what it is, NBA championship, do I want some man grinding on my wife's ass? Then it's a lot of single women saying, it's just entertainment. It's just, it's just like a movie. Well, why is this entertainment? Why is this entertainment, black people? How about this? With the exception of like quacks like Madonna and whatever, show me a white woman who's married where she has a performance where some man is grinding on her ass. Show me that. You can't show it to me in the history of the Super Bowl, and you'll be hard pressed to find it anywhere. Because why would you want it? Exactly, Medina. Why would you want that? And I find it interesting that a lot of the single women we talk about, beautiful and sexy, we say that at the Coleman House Initiative, we say this: your moral, ethical character is what makes you beautiful. But what we see is more women want to be sexy than they want to be beautiful. What is sexy? Sexy is the promotion of sex. And what do you get back when you promote sex? You get sexual lust of men. And all of us men know, despite what this new generation is trying to pump with this whore trash culture, no man respects a woman who promotes herself sexually. It's impossible. No man respects that kind of a woman. And so I don't want to get into silly arguments with people who don't even have a moral, ethical foundation. They're just what we used to call savages in pursuit of happiness. They'll follow anything that gets them off for a minute. There are a group of us, small, albeit true, that are in various different religions, that are in various different moral, ethical walks, and we are really concerned about the imagery that our children are seeing. But not just our children, we are concerned about the imagery that we are seeing, because whatever we're seeing and whatever we're believing has turned us into the most unmarried group of people on the face of the earth. Now, if marriage is the seed of community and community is the seed of nation, then what the hell is the thing that you can't understand that we're striving to protect? The things that black children, black men, and black women of a certain age believe in. Now, I'm much older than Alicia Keys and Usher. Well, not much, but I'm older than them at 53 years old. So now, if their fans are anywhere 10 years or so younger than them, they're in the most unmarried group of black people there are. So now, here we are. Just a couple of years ago, we so wishy-washy, right? Just a couple of years ago, everybody was, Michelle and Barack is my president. Would Michelle Obama be on stage with somebody grinding on her ass? Hell no. And if Barack Obama was up on somebody's ass, we would be discrediting him as a human being. Damn his politics. He could sell us down the river and not give us anything, but y'all love him because of the symbol of what they represent. And I respect them. I even shouted them out in a book, but I don't agree with their politics at all. But I respected them because not only did they represent black love elegantly and beautifully, but they also represented black culture by bringing in the grandmother, because we have extended family. Michelle's mother was like living in the White House, right? So, and then Michelle's brother and their extended families. And I thought it was beautiful that it was Michelle's extended family. We didn't see Barack's family that much, the white side of his family. And I know he went to Africa a couple of times to reconnect with his father's side of his family, and then he wrote the book the dreams of my father. But I'm just saying, I think it's really interesting. First of all, silly people, celebrities are going to always garner the opinion of the masses because we're the ones who are making them celebrities. First of all, it is us buying their products and supporting their endeavors. And so, yes, we should understand what our boundaries are in terms of their personal life. But this ain't something where we're prying into their personal life. They are performing in the biggest football game in the world in front of everybody. How many children watch that? How many children in psychology, the reason that the motion picture business is the biggest entertainment business is because they understand that we can control the minds of the people for generations with a single movie. The people that run this world understand that. The people who are the most dysfunctional and ineffective are out here saying it doesn't matter. Well, that means that group has done an excellent job. But in the words of my Limo Jegna, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, you won't get that small time shit off on me.